What's up, everybody? I want to get back to streaming on the regular, just because I know I took some time off, but it's fine. For me, I realized that I need to get back into streaming just because I love hanging out and chatting with you. And I'm going to come back to my Friday night coding stream, which I know is going to have not that many viewers, which is perfectly fine. But if anybody finds some of the stuff that I do helpful, at least it's a good way for me to keep track of what I'm doing. I know sometimes I've been having these grand ideas. So what I'd like to do for these coding sessions that I'm going to do is just explore new topics while having conversations with all of you. So if you're joining, awesome. And if you're watching the rerun, this is cool too. So I wanted to explore more AI stuff and try to kind of explore building cool things. And one of the applications I recently saw, which was pretty awesome, is taking a YouTube video and converting it to a blog post. And I was like, yeah, you know what? This is a pretty cool service. And what's awesome, this service that I saw, people charging money for it. So basically, you're able to share a link to your YouTube video and it will automatically write a blog post. And I was like, how hard could this be? I mean, we have the tools available. Can I create something similar to that? And so that's what I'm gonna try to do today. I created a small kind of test project to try it out. And I'll quickly show you what it does so far. Let me switch to my code. And what I want to do is I want to refactor some of this code because I'm still learning. I'm not I always make mistakes all the time. And so what I'm trying to do is to kind of figure this out. And let me switch a shirt. Always pick the wrong windows. Here we go. The face without the background. So what I want to do is I want to kind of go through these steps where I'm able to pass a link and I'm able to go ahead and transcribe that link into, well, get the video and download the video from that link. And then what I want to do is I want to take that video and convert it to an audio file. And then I want to use one of the OpenAI services to transcribe it into text. And I kind of got that far, but this code is a mess right now. And so I want to refactor because eventually, instead of having it like in a Node.js, like app.js file and just running straight Node, I want to incorporate it either in a plugin or incorporate it in my application. So I'll have to have like an actual server running. But for now, we're just exploring, figuring things out. And so the functions that I have so far, we have download video, convert video to audio, and then transcribe the audio and save it to file, which I didn't quite implement. And this code, I'm going to warn you, is a mess. And we're going to try to refactor it a little bit. And if you have any suggestions or want to make fun of me in the comments, of course, you are welcome to do that. And the reason why I want to dive more into playing with like AI stuff, and I'm going to be completely honest here. I love using Chat GPT 3 and I have Chat GPT Plus, and now you could even check out Chat GPT 4, which is pretty cool. And what I'm starting to realize is this is a great learning tool for you to have a conversation while coding. And the issue is that this is just the world I feel like it's going to be. And I know I didn't come up with it. And I know some people like will be like, I was the first one to say it. Not like me personally, but just people, that's how they feel. But they feel like, you know, web development jobs are not going to be like disappear, right? Like the developers that are going to be replaced are the developers that are not willing to use AI for their benefit to get better. So use it as you're learning and allow you to grow. And so I'm going to embrace AI. And what I started to do is basically continue to do everything that I'm doing, web development, continue to do, you know, my normal job. But more importantly, I just really get into a habit of learning all these available tools and knowing all the services that exist. For instance, I have access to OpenAI API. It has a bunch of different services that I want to explore, and some of the services I'm using in this project today. And you know, you could check it out, but we have, you know, text completion, speech to text. So those are the ones that I'm going to be using today. Speech to text is going to be to take audio and convert it to text, and then be able to use text completion to take that text and convert it to a summary of my video. So let me go back to my application and kind of show you what I have so far. And basically, right now, what happens if I run Node app.js is going to go ahead, download my video. It's going to download my audio file and give me the transcription. So let me delete this for now. Move to trash. Delete, move to trash. And so now, just to kind of show you how it works. Clear. If I do node app.js, what it's going to do, it's going to run the first function, which is going to download the video. So now we have the video here. The second function that it runs, it's going to run our video to function to take that video and convert it to an audio file, which it does here. And so I have this audio file. And then what it does, it will pass the audio to Whisper AI, which will go ahead and generate this transcription. And so the final step, what I want to do in this like proof of concept, is to take this transcription and go ahead and pass it to text completion and see if it could generate a summary of the video. So that's the step. But right now I'm kind of like like the code is a mess. I'm still trying to figure out, so I'm not worried about it. I just want to get the basic functionality. I am halfway there. So what we need to do here now within this transcription audio and save to file, which I didn't implement saving to file, something that I need to kind of figure out and learn. And so let's kind of figure out how to do this. Convert video to audio, video stream on, reject. And so what I'm going to do is start my research in Chat GPT 3, right? I'm going to say how to save a text file to file using Node.js. So let's see what it says. And again, I'm just going to be going and chatting with my Chat GPT 3 to kind of help me like figure things out. And the way I do this, by the way, is not to just get the answers, but try things out, figure this out. And what I love about doing this, instead of me now having to Google and read stuff, which you could perfectly do, and there's nothing wrong with that, is you can just start to kind of have this conversation with Chat GPT 3. So for instance, if I'm reading this and I'm like I am not sure like what write file does, can you give me more details on how the function works, right? And it'll go ahead and you can ask it. And by the way, this is not always 100% right. Sometimes it'll give you faulty information, but the idea is, it's like, why not, if you're looking to learn things and you're trying things out, don't just blindly use ChatGPT 3 to give you the answer, but think of it as like your friend that's helping you kind of learn. And so here it is. Write file functions are part of a built-in FS file system module. Node.js allows you to create new files or overwrite an existing one with a specific content. Here's a more detailed breakdown. And so it kind of tells you what you are able to do. As the first argument, you could pass file. The file path is a file descriptor or a URL. For example, you could provide string like output text as a file path. Fantastic. Data is going to be the content you want to write to file. This can be a string buffer or other binary data representations. Then you could pass options, specify option strings that sets the file accordingly, blah, blah, blah. And then the type encoding you want. Pretty interesting. And here's a basic example. So this is kind of cool because it allows you to just much faster explore code using ChatGPT 3 rather than just searching. And by the way, like, I'm not against searching, right? You could go ahead and go Node.js and then search FS file, write file, and read the Node documentation. By the way, I'm not saying that you should not use the documentation, because this is very, very, very important. But sometimes you read documentation like, hey, I'm not sure what the hell I'm looking at and reading. So what you could go ahead is you could use Chat GPT 3 to help you out. So we know we could use write file to write the file. So we can give it a try in our application. So we need the path, we need the file content, UTF, and then if there's an error, we could say error. So let's try this basic example here. And we're going to do it after we receive our, so download video, overwrite. When we receive our audio file, we have our response. And then what we want to do is fs write file. And what were the parameters again? So yeah, let's see. Do we have a folder here, transcriptions? Let's create a folder called transcriptions. I like that, transcriptions. And by the way, if you want to say hello in the chat, don't be shy, say hello. Love to hear from you. But I know sometimes it's boring watching somebody code. But the reason why I do these live streams, like, not to show how cool I am, because I'm really not, but to kind of show you, like, if you're learning to code, this is kind of like the process you go through. You try things out, see what works, see what doesn't work, and you break things. And there's no shame, you know, around that, right? I'm not embarrassed that, like, I'm sucking right now and trying to figure out what the hell do I need to do. So file path, we want to make sure, let's say our file path is going to be transcriptions, and then we're going to do transcription text. And I know, like, autocorrect is trying to help me out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow down a little bit. So looking at our example here, so next we want to pass our file content. Our file content is going to be our response. I'm assuming, let me actually take a look at what how the response look like. So it comes in, we have .data.text. So I'm assuming I should be able to pass that. So we have response .data.text, right? That's what it looks like. And so we're going to take this and we're going to pass it as our second argument. Okay. And this is probably going to blow up, but perfectly fine. I'm not worried about it. That's why I'm just trying things out while coding. Let's see here. Helmet, what's up? How you doing today? It's good watching. I'm using Chat GPT to assist with some things myself. Yeah, no, I think it's like a good, like, there's no reason not to do it. I think like the three things I committed to. Number one, continue to learn all the programming stuff that I'm learning, because we'll always have programming jobs. Number two is start learning about all the tools that are available that AI powered that could help you to become a better developer and do things faster. And three, start going out of my comfort level and taking time to maybe learn a little bit more about machine learning, what things are, what math do you need. I'm not saying that I want to be a researcher that's going to write those LM models, but moving forward, I want to raise like my vocabulary to better be able to understand what's up with AI. But I think like the one thing that I could say for sure is that it will definitely replace developers that are not willing to just go head first into using AI tools to be more productive. You know, that's 100% I could say. So what is the next argument that we have here? UTF-F, and then we pass a function to see if there's an error. So let's do UTF-F, and then let's pass a function. Man, let me close this. Function error. And then, you know, if error, return console log. If there's no error, say console log file was saved. So let's give it a try. I'm going to guess that it's probably going to blow up, which is perfectly fine. Yeah, and exactly. Embrace it, don't shun it. And so basically all my projects that I'm building now is how can I insert AI into it. For instance, I work at Strappy, so I wanted to build a plugin that allows you to use OpenAI Playground. So like if you have OpenAI account, right, they have this thing called Playground. And so what I wanted to do is implement this inside our Strappy admin, which is a headless CMS. And this is something that I'm still working at. It's not done at all, but this is like the plugin I'm building. I'm not going to talk too much about this because this is still not done, but I have it here just as reference when I am going to work on doing the text completion part. So I could use this as an example of work that I did before. But let's check it out. Let's delete our previous stuff and let's try again. And then we're going to refactor. First, like, this is the rule, like, get it to work first, no matter how ugly and broken the code looks, and then refactor. Is it proper way of doing things? I don't know. What's up, Luke? How you doing? You started playing with Chat GPT 4, definitely worth it. Yeah, 100%. I'm still exploring. I think as a developer moving forward, this is just going to be the life of how well can you use, you know, the tooling that you have. And so I'm like pretty excited about, you know, continue with it. And every new application I want to build, I want to try to implement more of these AI kind of tools and just continue to build on my repertoire of being able to use them effectively. So let's try it. Let's run node.app.js and see if it blows up. So in theory, I think it worked. We'll see. So I could kind of see a problem here, and we will see what the problem is. So we look at transcription here. That folder is empty, and the reason why it's empty, so we do get our nice text here, but it's not saved to file. Why not? What could be the issue? Well, the issue is we are so we're waiting for the response, but apparently this is running way before this happens, which is like kind of crazy that it does that. So I'm kind of curious if there's a callback function you could pass here. But at the same time, I'm not sure why this would be running first. Because we are sync and awaiting. I'm kind of curious. Try a little bit different approach, and then I'll come back to this. It's fine that I'm breaking stuff. Then response, and let's kind of stick this inside here and see if that would make a difference. I'm kind of curious, and then I'll dive deeper into understanding why this wasn't working as expected. But at least I'm hoping now this will only fire when this response is complete. And I'm kind of curious. Maybe we should run it here. I don't know. Response data text. Let's try it again. Let's see what happens. Oh, never mind. It did work. So that's weird. You know what? I take it back, because what happened is I saw this folder generate first before this appeared. And so I assumed it just didn't wait for the file to finish uploading, and it just created an empty thing. But I get what it does. It will create the folder, but it will wait until it gets the text to get back the transcript. So that makes sense. So I think both this approach will work and the one that I had earlier. So let's try it again. So this should work. So let's do it one more time. Let's delete this. Let's delete the audio file. And again, I have to refactor this to work better. So I have to do this weird way. So what are we doing in the code now? So just so like if you're joining us, the two of us that are here together, we're downloading video from, and I'll talk about the details how I'm doing this. I'm downloading the video from YouTube. And in order to do that, I am using YTTDL library from YTDL Core, which has the functionality that allows you to easily download the video file from YouTube. And what we're doing we're saving it to file. Once we have the downloaded video, what I'm doing is I'm using this function, convert video to audio, to convert the video to audio. And once we convert the video to audio here, we save it as our audio file inside the audio folder. Once that is done, we finally calling this function, transcribe our audio and save it to file, which will save our audio to file. And then finally, once we get that data, we are going to go ahead, send it to Whisper OpenAI. If I'm confusing, it's because I'm still trying to figure out what the hell I'm talking about. But that's why I do these live streams, to help me think through live and suffer through stumbling along the way, learning these things that I'm doing. And we're using Whisper AI to get the transcript. So we're passing our auto file that we saved in our application, and then we're passing it to Whisper AI. And if you're like, well, what the hell is Whisper? Whisper is part of OpenAI. If you go to overview, this will be their text completion. And so it kind of shows you the examples, what you could do, and basically explains everything here. But you're basically using, let me get to, am I in the right one? Text, no, not text completion. What am I saying to you? It's speech to text. No wonder that looked weird. And so it's using their Whisper model, which allows you to send your audio data to OpenAI, and they'll go ahead and transcribe it for you. And that's basically what I'm doing here. So yeah. Yeah, and I'm just gonna look at the comments too. Yeah, Chat GPT 4, yeah, it's like if you have Chat GPT 3, what was it there? The paid version, you are able to, so if I do new chat, check this out, you're able to do Chat GPT 4. I don't use it until I have to, because you get 25 messages every 3 hours. I mean, that's probably enough for me. So I'll stick to ChatGPT 3.5, and then if I want to do something extra or whatever, play with 4, I will. But for now, I'm literally just going nice and slow, you know, using this ChatGPT to have a conversation, have it explain things to me that I don't understand. Like here, I had it explain to me what the hell is write file is. So notice I'm not using ChatGPT 3 to get the answers. I'm using it to basically teach myself what the hell am I doing, and rather than like, you know, don't it's like don't just like blindly use what ChatGPT 3. Explore, play with it, break it, figure it out, and use it more as a tutor for yourself, for you to become a better developer, than having it just be a way to find answers. That would be like my tip of the day. So back to our code. And so check this out. Let's see here. Did I run it? Let me delete this. Okay, so I deleted the audio, the video. So let's run again. And so what I was thinking before, because if I delete this transcription folder, what's interesting here is, let me clear the screen here. And this is why I was like, maybe something weird happened. But check this out. When I run, and maybe something weird will happen. We'll see. If I run node app.js, it's going to run all the functions. It's going to get the audio. It's going to get the video. And then it's going to go ahead and it should make the transcription folder. And we'll see if it does. You know? Yep. And so it returned the data. Okay, so I've realized my mistake. This right here will not create the folder for you, right? That's why we don't have a transcription folder. So what I did earlier here in download the video, you could do this. If you could check if there's a folder that you want to create exists. If it doesn't, you could create it. And so we could kind of use the similar logic, pass it back here. And we're going to refactor this, of course. But for now, I'm just like, hey, let's let's play with this. We're just gonna hard code it for now, and then we'll figure it out. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And guess what? We're all learning something together. Well, I'm probably trying to learn and you're probably laughing at me, which is very fine and dandy. But again, like I said, I like to do these streams because for anybody who's a beginner and who's like, man, I watch all these streams online and everybody just gets things done and they're like all expert coding, and you're on your path, you're on your learning journey, that could be like really intimidating. So I wanted to continue and bring these streams back in the sense of like, hey, I get to spend my Friday night talking to myself and the few of you that are here. And number two, showing a more realistic expectation of what it is like, you know, coding, right? Coding live. It's not glamorous. Like, thank God I have my coffee here. Let's see here. At some point it's gonna hit this function. Yeah, so notice how that folder was created because we used exist sync to check, is there a folder with the name transcription? There wasn't. So we said, go ahead, make directory using transcription as the name. So created that folder transcription. And then we took our data that we recovered from our audio being transcribed and we saved it to file. So step 4 is done, or 3, which one it is. So we were able to get our video, our audio, our transcription. So now we want to work on getting the summary. And so let me go back here for now and just to kind of do sanity check. And again, this is really ugly code, but just to kind of bring everybody to what we're doing, we have a function that takes a video URL from YouTube and it will download the video and save it to file right here. Once the file is saved, it's going to convert that video to audio and save it inside our audio folder. Boom, right here. So we have our audio, nice. And once the audio is saved, what we're doing is we want to take that audio and we want to get a transcript of it. And how are we getting the transcript? Well, we're using OpenAI. We're passing our audio file and it is gonna go ahead and return our response. Now, once we get the response back, we go ahead and write that transcription into file. So first, we're going to do it without getting this from file. I just wanted to kind of explore how do you write things to file, how it works. You know, if let's say for some reason you're not sure what exist sync is, you could of course find it in Node documentation. But sometimes it's just much easier to ask Chat GPT 3, for instance, hey, explain to me this code and how it works. And then you just copy and paste the code. And again, notice how I'm not using Chat GPT 3 for answers. I'm using it as a conversational way to chat with people, with the machine, with the AI, to kind of help me better learn and understand things that I might not be sure about. And again, I'm exploring this stuff inside the code. Hey, thanks, Luke. You know, it's literally because at my job, I got tasked with writing blog posts, but also making videos. And I wanted to, and I'm always better at making videos. So what I wanted to do is create a tool for myself. I know there's paid tools available, but I wanted to create a not paid tool, but I wanted to create a tool for myself that I could use to quickly summarize my videos to help me easily churn them into blog posts. So basically, once I finish the YouTube video, I'm gonna pass it through this thing, which hopefully I'm gonna refactor and make better. And it will allow me to at least have a starting point for my blog post, instead of me paying money for it for some service. But there is a great service. There's a service called Tap It, I think. And I think it's called Tap It. I hope it's called Tap It because I'm afraid to see what website this may open. You know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do video to blog post Tap It, because Tap It might be some crazy stuff. So it's video Tap It, literally like this. So they have this service. So you could literally take your video URL right here, right? Like I could take my URL, copy it, pass it here, and click tap this video, and it will go ahead and do basically what I'm trying to do. But as a developer, like, why pay money for something if you could just spend way more time than you need to, and it probably won't work as well, but you could build it yourself, you know what I mean? And so that's what I'm trying to do. Again, I use this service, it's pretty good. It does have some limitations, but out of like practice, I just want to see, can I create my own API to do something similar, because I might want to add additional features that this might not have. So that will be my you know, kind of logic for doing it myself. So I'm gonna let that go for now, just so we could compare. But for now, back to our code. And speaking of Chat GPT 3, notice how I asked, like, hey, I'm not quite sure how this works. Let's say I wasn't. And yeah, and that's pretty awesome. I already signed up for a waiting list. Abhishek Subedi, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. But man, awesome to have you here, by the way. Yeah, and I'm excited because I want to see how to build the plugins. I want to learn more about it. Listen, AI all the way. As a developer, just embrace it and learn as much as you can. Even if you're not as smart as some of these scientists that write the LMS models, there's still going to be a spot for you. Just learn to use the tools to become a more efficient and effective coder. And again, like, notice how here I don't just ask for answers how to do something of ChatGPT 3. Instead, I ask like questions like, hey, explain to me the code below, how it works, so I could actually learn something. So the code snippet checks if direct, and we already covered this, but I'm just gonna read the answer that ChatGPT 3 did. This code simply checks the directory name transcription. If it exists, if it doesn't, the code will create that directory, and that's break down the code for you, which I like that. Like if you're like me, like have a hard time understanding things because you're a boomer, like you go ahead and you go and do stuff like this. FS exists sync path. This function basically checks the given directory if it exists, if it returns true or false. Otherwise, if it doesn't, right? I mean, you could probably deduce that by reading the code, but I'm just saying, you know. And if it exists, if it doesn't exist, right, you know, then why don't you use make directory sync, and this function will create a directory with a given path. And that's basically what we did. And just in case if you're wondering what we did, ChatGPT 3 explained this for us. Now, the point here that I'm trying to make, this is still ugly code, and let's get it to work, and then we'll refactor later. But the next step, the final step, we need to take our text. And for now, I'm not going to worry about this part right here, because at the end of the day, like we'll come back to this. But what I really want to do is for now see if I could take the transcription that I get back and summarize it. And the example would be is like, let me just take this here, the transcription here. And what I want to do is kind of use ChatGPT 3, but programmatically in this way, summarize the follow. I can't spell to save my life. I need some AI in my life. Text. Summarize. What is it? Is it 2 M's or 2 R's? Which one is it? 2 M's. Okay. Text. And then let's push it here. And this response is so long. So that's an interesting issue here, is that what happens if the response is too long? And I definitely copied and pasted too many things, but that's okay. We'll deal with that later. Let's get the most basic thing here. Control copy. Let's try that again. Delete. No, let's not delete that. No, don't delete that. Let's save that. Let's do new chat. Summarize the following text. And we're just going to play with the prompts here. And again, bad habits, not putting the extra M here. And so here we go. We have Chat GPT summarize the text for us. So OpenAI API, you need to pay for it because it's like a paid service to use OpenAI API. You could sign up for it for free and use their playground. I believe here. Here, I'll show you here. You could sign up for free. You could use the playground here for free to test things out. And this is actually where I could have been doing my prompting here. Is the following text into text with headings and paragraphs, right? So you could, instead of doing it in the Chat GPT 3 window that I showed, you could literally test it here in the playground. Click submit. It's gonna go ahead. And so this is kind of cool too. Look, check this out. It will go ahead and summarize the video, invert local data to Strapi Cloud. In this video, we're going to learn how to transfer data from local Strapi instance to cloud using the deets. That should be spelled differently, but whatever. Add environmentals. So that's kind of cool. So now what we want to do is we want to get this response not in playground and programmatically. We could figure out kind of like all these other options later, but for now we're going to use this basic prompt that we have. This is going to be our prompt. And so what we're going to use is, let's see here, overview text completion. That's what we want to do, and we can read more about it, how to use it, inserting code completion, chat completion, conversation. And I should probably look at the documentation. Models, Chat GPT 3, quick start. Jesus Christ, where's the document? Where's the documentation? Well, let's see. It's so funny. I have comments pop up on my right, but hold on a second. Let me look here. I always get confused about how integrate API like tokens, secret keys. Man, Google YouTube API is confusing. I have an auth integration. What's interesting here, yeah, Google auth is kind of weird. To make it easy for me to at least, like, so whenever you work with YouTube and you want to download stuff from, like, for instance, I wanted to figure out how to download videos from YouTube easily. I literally found a library for that to do that, because typically, like anything with Google, you need to sign up for the API. You need to pass their token. And I think using YTTDL, and we're about to find out, I don't think you need to pass a token for Google stuff here. Video. Yeah, so this is kind of cool. This is why I like this library here. YTDL core. Because I don't think you need to, like, if you're not passing any credentials, so I don't have to worry about it. And it allows me to download videos from YouTube, no problem. So this is kind of cool. So if you use the YouTube API, you need to have your auth token. You have to do all this other stuff. This is just lets you download videos for you. So, like, those, YouTube downloader, whatever, all those websites like this. This is basically literally what I already did in step one. I could literally create this by using this library here, and I don't have to provide any like auth tokens or anything like that. So that's kind of what I'm using in my code here. So again, to reiterate, what am I doing? I'm downloading video from YouTube based on a URL. I'm converting that video to audio because I want to transcribe it to text. To transcribe the audio to text, I'm using Chat GPT transcription service using their Whisper model. And once I get the response back, we're saving it to file. But right now, what we want to do is let's do const transcription, save it like this, just for now, put it in a variable, why not? And what we want to do is we want to pass it to Chat GPT 3 with a prompt to summarize it. God damn it. I want transcription here. Okay, so now let's figure out how to do that, right? Let's figure this out. And by the way, thanks for checking out the most boring stream. Like, my coding streams are usually not that exciting. I don't blame you for not thinking that. It's the Saturday night stream, Saturday morning stream too. Like, those are popping. Those are just like me talking about other stuff instead of just spending time here in the code editor. A lot of people find those entertaining. I get it. But I just thank you for keeping me what's that? I can't even think right now. Thank you for being here, by the way. Yeah, I'll keep it simple while I make sense and try to figure things out. So we got the response. We have our transcript. Now we want to summarize it. We tested our summarization with a basic prompt. I already closed the window. And so what I want to do is go to documentation and go to code completion, I think. And then, yeah, not code completion. Text completion. And then let's see here. We already read this. Generation, conversation, blah, blah, blah. Transformation, summarization. That's a lot of reading. Jesus Christ. Quick start. Summarization. Suggest one name horse. Add an example. Okay, build your application. Sounds good. Blah, blah, blah. So we need to do something similar to this. Completion. We will, by the way, the reason why I'm able to access this is because I have OpenAI CLI installed in my project. So that allows me to do it that way, but you could use fetch as well. Like in my other project here, I'm basically using Axios to make that call. But it's just sometimes easier if you're using OpenAI CLI. If you look at my package JSON file, that's one of the dependencies here. So if you're wondering how that is working, and I'll probably won't get to refactoring the code, but I just want to see, can we get a completion done? And so let me paste that example. So completion will be blah, 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 blah. And again, my credentials are already passed here because when you first start your project, here we're creating our configuration and I'm passing my OpenAI token that I created inside my OpenAI dashboard here. So I'm using one of my tokens here, and that's what you would have to do if you want to do it. So let's see if we're able to get this done for us. So completion is going to be, and you know what? We're going to save our completion that we get back to file, right? Just to keep it simple. My cat saying hello. I'm sorry, kitty. You want to say hello to everybody? She's chasing bugs that are flying around because I have my door to my balcony open, but that's cool. Competition, what the you spell completion? Jesus Christ. I'm a little bit like dyslexic, I think, that I get numbers and letters, everything like backwards. So we're gonna save our completion here. That's fine. So we're gonna restart completion. This should be completion. Actually, like, first of all, because I'm not sure this is going to look like that, let me take a step back for a second, because let's take a look what the hell this even looks like when we get it back, because I'm making a lot of assumptions here. It's probably going to be this. Thank you, Copilot, but let's console log this and see what happens. And let's not worry about this part of our code yet. Let's not worry about that. We just want to see, we just want to, is it, let me do, okay, hold on a second. I need to comment this out. And comment this out. So I just want to see, are we actually able to get the summary? And our prompt that we decided to use, I could type a new prompt, generate prompt. Our prompt is gonna be interesting. We're just gonna say, I'm kind of curious actually, why are they using generate prompt in their example? Let's take a look. So how am I doing authentication? So in terms of downloading the YouTube videos, I don't need any authentication. That's the beauty of the package that I showed you for downloading videos. In terms of here, the way I'm authenticated into OpenAI is via my token, and I was able to easily configure it using the configuration method or class that whatever it's on the behind the scenes is. Who knows with JavaScript anymore? But I'm basically able to create a new configuration and pass my API key, and that will automatically authenticate me when I make the request to OpenAI. Now, if I were in the future when I'm going to make this an application, like depending how for my users, yeah. So that's a good question. So it really depends how I want to do this. So if I were to do this, let's say I like to use Strappy as my backend, I could create a plugin, and Strappy already comes with authentication. Let's say I decide not to use Strappy. If I decide to use Remix, in Remix, you could create your own authentication if you want. You could also hook it up to use OAuth if you want, or if you use Next.js, there's a bunch of different solutions for auth that you could incorporate. So it really depends on what path you want to take. I think for me, the route that I'm going to take, number one, I'm going to, for the sake of learning, do two things. Once I get this like basic POC done, I'm going to, let me just switch to a different screen to give myself a break. When I get this POC done and figure out like the steps that I need to complete to get the summary of my videos, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a Strappy plugin first that I could use in my Strappy application, where I already have authentication out of the box. And then the second project that I'm going to build with this is a standalone project using Remix. And for Remix, I'm going to kind of take a look, see how to build your own authentication from scratch. I'm not saying that all of us should be building our authentication from scratch, because there's a lot of things to consider. It's not as easy sometimes. So it's much easier to like use OAuth as a provider or any one of those similar things, because they already did it for you. But at least one project, someone should build authentication from scratch for practice. So let's get back into the code. Man, we got 6 people. This party's popping. And by the way, if you want to smash the like button, go ahead. You don't have to. So basically, let me read the documentation here. Dude, don't tell me I left the documentation I was looking at. Quick start. Okay, here we are. Generate prompt. So we don't have to worry about this right now. That's a function that they're creating. We're just going to pass our prompt directly, and our prompt is going to be summarize. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, this we go. Summarize the following text into a blog post with, yeah, you could be like very specific. I'm just gonna say with sections. Let's just do that. That's gonna be our first prompt, and then what we want to do here is to append our whatever our response is going to be, which we know is our response data.text. So let's see if that works, by the way. So if this all works, we should see our completion done. And again, I'm gonna cross my fingers, hope that it works, but know that it won't, right? Because that's usually the way everything works for me. I'm usually failing miserably. And then we're gonna see what the hell we return. And now I'm gonna delete the audio. I'm gonna delete transcription. Not that we need that right now. I'm gonna delete the video, And so let's quickly, I know this is going to be like, again, like why the hell are we going through the steps? I'm just doing it for my own sanity. So what we're doing is we're downloading video from YouTube. We're converting that video to audio. We're transcribing that video to text. And then the final step, and we're transcribing using Whisper, OpenAI speech-to-text service. And then once we have our transcript, we're going to summarize it by using Chat GPT 3, using their Text DaVinci model, and let's see if that works. So let me know in the chat if you think if it's going to work or not. I'm going to say that probably not. Let's see it. So I got the audio, I got the video. It's working on the transcript right now. I am hoping it's working on the transcript right now. Come on. And it failed. And now I got to figure out what the error is. So we did get the text. I like how it shows my token, which is hilarious. I'm like doxing myself, or at least my token. Good thing I could like delete it after the stream and assign another one. Where's the error object? Data text completion, token completion, text image 3, usage data object. Oh no, it did work. I'm an idiot. I didn't drink enough coffee. It worked. So here's the thing. The reason why I'm seeing all that, and I'm like, this looks like an error, is just, no, it's not an error. It's just the complete return object from our request. And so this is it right here. So what we need to go to is choices. It was that we got to go to our choices, which is going to be an array, and get our text. So let's try that again. And then we could explore this later in more detail. I just want to get it to work. So mine is like, and I'm not saying, like, I'm definitely not the best developer, but I like to get things to work, even if it's like the worst code I ever written, and then use it to better learn and understand what I was doing, and then completely throw it away. And I was watching Primogen, I can't pronounce his name. Was it YouTube? Primogen, I guess. Yeah, this dude right here. Obviously, everybody knows who this person is, right? But I love this guy. I watch his streams all the time. One of the things that I heard, and I thought I was just a moron, because I was like, man, I built something once and I break it, I throw it out, then I try to build it a second time, it's still complete garbage, then I break it, throw it, then I do it a third time and it's still complete garbage, but then I'm still learning and iterating. And I heard him in one of his streams mention that that's what he does. He'll literally start building something knowing that it's going to be complete garbage and it's not going to be what he wants. And he literally does that 3-step process. And I felt like, of course, he is the OG developer, but I was like, wow, it's actually pretty normal. Build something crappy, learn from it, build something less crappy, learn from it, and then build a final thing. And I think that's pretty awesome. So, and that's kind of like my approach here, is just let me build the ugliest thing I can that works. And then I already have this file where we're going to refactor everything, probably in the next stream, not this stream. But the goal of this stream is to see, can we get... So I don't use OBS. I use this service called Ecamm Live. And again, it's paid service. And the reason why I don't use OBS is amazing. Again, eCam, very dangerous to type in search, by the way. But yeah, this is the software I use. It's pretty expensive for what it is. It's like $250 a year. But OBS, for me, I just don't have time to mess with it. But OBS is amazing. But I just don't have time to mess with OBS to set it up. And if it's something fails, like it takes too much of a time to fix things for me, at least. I don't have time for that. So this, I literally just sit on my computer, hit stream, and it just works, right? It's like Bethesda, just works. But OBS is awesome, not gonna lie to you. So now we should, in theory, be able to see our text. So let's run our node app.js file and see what happens. So it's gonna do that, and then we'll save our thing to file as well. Why not? And then in the next stream, we could explore this a little bit more. So apparently that's not how the object looks like. I just assume. So here's like another great example. I just trusted Copilot. I trusted Copilot to tell me that this is correct. This is not correct. I know we have choice. Let me look at the previous response. So, text message prompt summarize the following text. Okay, so wait a second here. Headers. So it literally is just data. So I'm kind of curious. Let's see this again. Let's do this. I know this is like, I just assumed there was something else. Oh no, maybe it has different. So that returns a JSON URL. Let me see what else it returns. I'm kind of curious here. I'm gonna have to read up more on the response object. Aborted, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to read up more, but it looks like it should be just completion.data and returns the data object as a JSON file. So we'll take a look. We'll do it again. And this is so annoying. The reason why I have to delete these files, because the way my app is currently set up, because obviously I didn't think ahead of time, is that if I already have a video that's saved, it's not gonna run the follow-up functions. So let's try again. So it's gonna get the video, it's gonna get the audio. You got the audio, got the video. And then it should get the transcript. And then it should take the transcript and pass it to get summarized. I hope that's what's gonna happen. Oh, that's awesome, and it did. So like I'm curious here, and this is probably because of the tokens I'm passing and the requirements, because it does not give all of the text back. And the reason why, it's because there's additional arguments we could pass, and I have to kind of look at it. So we have the temperature, max tokens. I think it's an argument. Let's see. Okay, temperature. Let me go to playground, because maximum length. Guys can use up to let me open documentation. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, I want to say something in chat, even if to make fun of me, that's perfectly fine. I'd like to have all of you participate if you want. Text completion. So max tokens. So here it is. Like, look, the model is better at inserting longer completions. With too small of max tokens, the model may cut off before it's able to connect to the suffix node that you will only be charged for the number of tokens produced, even if they're using larger. So let's do that. So we need to add max tokens. Let's do 256. And let's try that again. And again, like, I gotta refactor this so I don't have to do this stupid stuff that I'm doing now. Let's try again. So Node.js. So we're making progress, which is kind of exciting. I didn't think I was gonna make progress today, but we're doing it. We're making progress. It's happening. All this wait time because we're sending our data somewhere else to be processed using AI. Another thing I actually wanted to explore while this waits, there's something else I'm missing here, because this is obviously not what I'm looking for. So like the idea, what I should be returning here, I'll just kind of show you here. And then I'll talk about the thing that I wanted to say. So we want to summarize this text here. No, not this. Which is funny, return it here. But why and how? That's like so annoying that that's... I'm probably... Choices text... Yeah, there's... I'm gonna... Hold on a second. I'm kind of annoyed here for a second. But we'll figure it out. I'm doing something not proper here, which is fine. But let me just show you what it should return. Or something that should look like that. Like what it should look like is... something like this, right? It should return... a summary, not just one sentence. See how we got like a nice summary? And let's say here, summarize the following text into blog posts with section headings and paragraphs. Let's try that again. Let's see next. Let me just delete this because we don't need this. Let's try that again. So this is kind of what we're going to improve our... probably spelled paragraphs wrong. This is going to be our prompt here. Let's click summarize. Let's see. Yeah, so... Oh, I like that. Holy Jesus Christ. You could have it in Markdown. That is pretty neat. Oh my goodness. Then you could take this Markdown and convert it to JSX and you have your goddamn blog post. Brilliant. We'll get there when we get there. But for now, this is kind of what we want. And it still doesn't return all the data. And it's because... Let's do maximum length. Let's do 4 bajillion. Whatever. So like I know that I'm not getting full completion because... I'm not passing the proper parameters, but we live and learn for 4,000. Please reduce your prompt usage length in your prompt. Okay, let's do here. Submit. Oh, still too many. Still too many. Submit. Yeah, so notice how like and now it's giving us more stuff. But this is awesome. And this is where you need to kind of be able to guesstimate how many tokens you need to use to get stuff done. But this is what we should expect. Typical, this is so cool because this is straight up Markdown. I mean, it's very mild Markdown. I'm sure it could make it really more amazing Markdown. But this is pretty neat. So maximum length. So what other use max token? No, that max tokens. I'm kind of curious if it's this. Yeah, so let me try this right now in my code. And I'm gonna kind of match it what I have in my playground. I have temperature 7. We're using Text DaVinci. This is fine. So let's try this one more time. But hey, we're getting what we want. We're just not getting full summary because we're not passing enough tokens for it to be able to do that. So let's do this one more time. Node app.js. And then whatever summary we get, it's gonna be, it is what it is. We'll save it to file, and then we don't have like a good working application. It does the thing that it should do, but like who the hell's gonna use it like this, like I'm using it in the terminal? But at least we have the building blocks of the things that we need to do in order to do it. And check this out, we got our summary. So now what we want to do is save our text. So it is choices. So it's choices, completion data, dot choices, and that's the first array, and it's our text. And this is completion text. And then what we're going to do is take this completion text and save it to file. So we're going to make sure we check if there's a folder with transcription. Let's call it completion. No, this is going to be our summary. Summary, some memory, making words up. I make my own English language. Summary. And then did I just delete my right function? I did. Control Z. I didn't mean to delete this. I meant to uncomment this, and this is going to be it's going to be summary. Okay, so now the last thing to finish up this struggle today. Wow, struggle is real. To finish up the struggle today, what we're going to do is we're going to see, are we going to have a file generated with our summary here? Okay, final test. Smash that like button. If you didn't, just don't smash it too many times. You can only smash the like button in odd increments. Let's try last time here, see what happens. So I got the video. We know that works. I got the audio. We know that works. I did mess up though. First of all, I don't know how to spell, and that's not how you spell completion. There should be an M here. It's gonna break, I promise. Of course it broke. The reason why it broke is because I can't spell. It should be const completion text. And the reason why it broke is because it should be completion text. You, goddamn you, Paul. Let's try this again. I delete everything again because I just wanna, just because the code is like just completely stupidly written, and I didn't take into account that I might be running this more than once. But that's a whole different conversation later. But we did get our summary folder created without any files. So let's try it one last time. Let's try it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens. And by the way, I'm going to be back to streaming Friday nights. It's going to be coding stuff like this. If you don't like watching someone struggle and is and being boring and like whatever, you don't have to watch them. But this is like what I'm going to do. I'm going to like explore things that I'm building, share with you what I'm learning. And more importantly, like you'll see a more realistic approach of like what coding is really like, especially if you're a beginner just learning things. So check this out. We don't have an error. We have our summary. And boom, well, not quite success. We were able to generate our completion text. But what we weren't able to do is we weren't able to save it. And let me think ahead a little bit. But we're so close. Because we do have our thing here. It's all correct. So, oh God. Oh God, chat, you're not going to believe why it didn't work. If you see it, just don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me. If you see the mistake that I made, don't judge me. What is the goddamn folder called? It's called summary. Where the hell did I try to save this? Transcription. There's no folder transcription. But you know how you fix this, by the way, to make me not fail of this like this? Is to put it inside this else block. Then it wouldn't matter. I mean, it would matter because it would still expect this. We'll figure this out later. I don't want to think about it. Right now, we're going to hard code it. We don't even have to. I mean, you know what? We could do this. Check this out. Const folder name equals summary. This will be folder name. I just said because otherwise I'm not going to like, I mean, it's still going to be ugly code, but it's going to be like less ugly. We put it in else here. And then we take this Control X. Yeah. No, because that's going to be busted as hell too. Jesus Christ. I'm just trying to think. Else if. So if doesn't exist, it's going to hit this. If it does exist, create the folder. If it exists, you know what? We're not going to worry about it. We're going to do it like this. And then I'm not going to have a problem. I think that should be fine, okay? My brain hurts right now. I don't want to think too. It's not like this requires that much thinking, but let's try it. Final step, final test. No matter what happens with this test, I'm going to be like, this is it. Because sometimes you need to know when to walk away and take a break. So let's try the Okay, totally fine. Folder name too. Like really don't have patience for this right now. Okay. Try again. I just want to get it to do the general thing that I wanted to do. It's like get that. Like, so while it's doing the thing, we'll review what it's doing. As a final thing, we'll review what happens in this ugliest looking script that I will have to refactor, but at least it's going to work. I think, I hope. Is it going to work? Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work? Please work. Please work. Come on. You can do it. Please work. And goddamn, it worked. Check this out. We have a transcription text file. God damn. So check this out. What did we do? So in a nutshell, there's a service called Tapit, which allows you to take a YouTube URL, put it in here, and it will create your blog post for you. So yeah, you could pay for this. And for $5, I think it's pretty worth it for the video to summarize. But as a developer, it's like, so instead of buying something that works, why not spend way more time than necessary and build a less and more inferior product ourselves and just be happier because we did it ourselves. So that was our idea. And so what are we doing in this application? Well, we're number one, downloading a YouTube from a URL. Once we download that video from URL, we're converting it to an audio file. Then we're taking that audio file and we're using OpenAI Whisper to transcribe it. Then we're getting our transcript. Once we transcribe, we want to summarize that huge transcript. So we're summarizing to the text to be a blog post format with sections, and that's kind of in general what we're getting. I have to improve this prompt. We could do that later. And then we are saving that to files. So now we have our transcript, and I wonder like if we should save it as a markdown. So that'll probably be the final change. Just save everything to markdown. So this way, this is going to be like looking like, you know, in a markdown format for like the sections. Let me just kind of see something here briefly. But hey, we did it. It was working. But before I go to sleep, I should go to sleep now. But I just curious here, write FS user cheat code example to save to file as markdown, because that would be like much cooler. So basically we just have to give it markdown extension. That's simple enough. So instead of using text here, I will call it markdown, and we should be getting markdown from the response because we saw it somewhere here earlier. Perfect. So if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm seriously going to, like, this is it. Like, I can't be streaming forever, right? I can't be streaming forever. So I'm just gonna, out of curiosity, just to test it one more time. So yeah. So just to quick reiterate for my own sake, we're downloading video from YouTube URL. We are converting it to audio. Then we're transcribing the audio, and then we're summarizing the audio, and then we're saving stuff to files. So let's try one more time. Node.js. You know, and by the way, while this is doing, all of you that hung out for this long, Jesus Christ, what the hell are you doing? But with all realness, I want to say thank you for jumping in and checking out the stream. Like, again, the coding streams are like the most boring ones. So I appreciate it if you just want to chat or give your feedback or let me know how I'm doing or how am I not doing. But yeah, no, thank you so much. So I appreciate you no matter how many people come. But let's see if it did the thing that it was going to do. And I think it did. Let's go back and we could like celebrate. So check this out. We get our summary and look at this. It is a markdown file. We went from a YouTube video. We converted it to audio. We transcribed the audio to text, and then we summarized it, right? So instead of watching a whole 5-minute video, you could just read the summary. Welcome to another strappy cool video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use deets. This should be actually this. And the cool thing is, like, we could figure out how to fix this. Maybe this will instead say another strappy blog. We could figure this out later. We could add additional features, but I'm pretty happy how far we got. We were able to basically go from a video to a summary in Markdown, and that is pretty awesome. And I know I wasn't sharing my screen here, but yeah, this is pretty cool. We got our Markdown. We did it. Thank you for being here and supporting me with all your love. by the way, with that being said, you can always, this is going to play this ridiculous video. I don't know why it's playing this ridiculous video now, but I'm going to let it play. This is the most ridiculous intro and outro. I just want to show you when I stream. I could have made it simpler, but I stream Fridays 9 p.m. CST time and Saturdays 11 a.m. CST. And you're more than welcome to jump in anytime. So tomorrow I'm going to be streaming 11 a.m. CST. It's going to be all about my thoughts on AI. Is it going to take away web development jobs? What we could do? We're also going to talk about a bunch of other topics that I prepared. It's going to be a lot of fun. And so if you could join tomorrow 11 a.m. CST, those streams are a lot more lively, a lot more fun. Definitely go ahead. And yeah, outro, intro, it does all those things. Typically it would be the intro, but thank you. And yeah, it's I use it for both, I guess. But yeah, no, thank you for joining me here. And to Leah, like, great to like welcome here. I don't know how much of the stream you caught, but I really appreciate your support. Anybody that's able to jump in. And I think that's all for tonight. If you, you know, want to chat with me, you could always leave stuff in the comments, or you can chat with us during the stream. And if you're available tomorrow, 11 a.m. CST, I know it's for some people, it's like really, really late, like in the middle of the night, early in the morning. So I totally understand. But with that being said, thanks for jumping on, and I will see everybody later. Thank you for watching and have a good night.